Chaco Canyon, a name that echoes through the vast deserts of New Mexico, whispering tales of a civilization that once flourished under the expansive skies of the American Southwest. Located in the San Juan Basin, Chaco Canyon is not just a collection of ancient ruins, it is a monumental enigma carved into stone, time, and cosmos. The structures here are colossal, the alignments precise, and the mysteries profound. But what truly sets Chaco Canyon apart isn't just its architectural grandeur or its sprawling network of roads and ceremonial centers. It's the deep, almost mystical relationship the Chacoan people had with the heavens above. For decades, researchers, archaeologists, and astronomers have pieced together clues that suggest the ancestral Pueblans of Chaco Canyon were not just builders but observers, and perhaps even masters of the night sky. In this journey through time, we will explore the heart of this ancient world, uncovering how a seemingly isolated desert civilization may have developed a sophisticated understanding of solar, lunar, and celestial cycles. From the famed sun dagger of Fajada Butte to the alignment of massive stone structures with solstices and equinoxes, Chaco Canyon presents us with a compelling case that these ancient Americans watched the stars with a purpose. Let us dive into the mysteries of Chaco Canyon to ask not just how these structures were built, but why. What celestial knowledge did the Chacoans possess? What stories did they read in the stars? And could it be that this forgotten culture was far more advanced in astronomy than we ever imagined? Chaco Canyon came to the attention of the wider world in the mid-19th century, but its secrets were buried in time long before that. Nestled in the high deserts of northwestern New Mexico, the canyon's remote and rugged terrain kept its ancient ruins hidden from widespread recognition. However, Native American tribes, particularly the modern Pueblo peoples, had long revered the area, maintaining a sacred connection to the ancestral homeland of their forebears. The first recorded Euro-American expedition into Chaco Canyon occurred in 1849, when U.S. Army Lieutenant James H. Simpson, accompanied by artist Edward Kern, documented and sketched several of the prominent ruins, including Pueblo Bonito. Their findings were published and brought the attention of scholars and explorers to this isolated corner of the Southwest. It wasn't until the late 19th and early 20th centuries, however, that serious archaeological work began. In the 1890s, Richard Wetherill, a rancher and amateur archaeologist who had previously discovered Mesa Verde, began excavating Pueblo Bonito. Wetherill's work, though groundbreaking, lacked scientific rigor and resulted in the removal of countless artifacts to museums and private collections. The early 1900s saw the involvement of institutions like the American Museum of Natural History and the Smithsonian. Under the leadership of archaeologists such as George H. Pepper and Neil M. Judd, systematic excavations revealed the massive scale of Chacoan architecture and the complexity of its society. In 1907, the significance of the site was recognized with the establishment of Chaco Canyon National Monument, later expanded into Chaco Culture National Historical Park. This designation aimed to protect not just the ruins themselves, but also the surrounding landscape that held spiritual and archaeological importance. The discovery of thousands of rooms, ceremonial kivas, and elaborate road systems stunned the academic world. Pottery, jewelry, tools, and even macaw skeletons from Mesoamerica hinted at long-distance trade networks. The presence of astronomical markers, petroglyphs, and solar alignments opened new avenues of inquiry. Today, satellite imaging, LiDAR scanning, and GPS mapping continue to reveal new aspects of Chaco's complex infrastructure. The canyon is no longer just an archaeological site. It is a living research laboratory for exploring the interconnection between architecture, environment, and the cosmos. The architects of Chaco Canyon were the ancestral Puebloans, sometimes referred to historically as the Anasazi, a term now falling out of favor due to its controversial origin. These people were not a single tribe, but a culture composed of various groups who inhabited the Four Corners region of the American Southwest. By around 900 CE, the Chacoans began transforming their canyon into a cultural, political, and religious center. Over the next 300 years, they developed a society that demonstrated advanced skills in engineering, astronomy, agriculture, and long-distance communication. The ancestral Puebloans were adept at adapting to the harsh desert environment. They built dams, reservoirs, and canals to collect and conserve water. They cultivated maize, beans, and squash in carefully planned plots, often using waffle gardens and check dams to manage water flow. Socially, Chaco society appears to have been highly organized. The scale and uniformity of construction suggests centralized planning and coordination. Roads connected Chaco to over 150 outlier communities, some over 100 miles away, indicating a vast network of influence. Religious life played a central role. The great kivas, circular subterranean ceremonial chambers, were sites of ritual and community gathering. These spaces, often aligned with celestial events, hint at a spiritual life deeply connected to the cosmos. Artifacts found in elite burials suggest a hierarchical society with a priestly or ruling class, perhaps tasked with maintaining ceremonial calendars and overseeing astronomical observations. Genetic studies have revealed continuity between ancient Chacoans and modern Pueblo peoples, particularly the Hopi and Zuni. Oral traditions passed down through generations speak of migrations, skywatching, and sacred geography, stories that echo the archaeological record of Chaco. These builders were not simply survivors in a harsh landscape. They were visionaries who created an enduring legacy that continues to captivate the modern world. The most iconic structures in Chaco Canyon are its great houses. Massive multi-story stone buildings that served as administrative, ceremonial, and possibly residential centers. The largest of these, Pueblo Bonito, contained over 600 rooms and rose 4 stories high, covering more than 2 acres. Constructed between 850 and 1150 CE, these buildings showcase a mastery of stone masonry. Builders used sandstone blocks and mud mortar to create thick, thermally efficient walls. Timber beams, some transported from over 50 miles away, supported intricate roofing systems. The Chacoans used standardized construction techniques, including core and veneer walls and T-shaped doorways. Architectural elements were often repeated across sites, suggesting a shared blueprint or cultural code. Great houses were aligned with celestial events. Many are oriented to the cardinal directions or to the solstices and equinoxes. Light and shadow effects within rooms and windows would mark key seasonal dates. Interior features include storage rooms, elevated living quarters, and multiple kivas. Some buildings, like Casa Rinconada, feature large great kivas with ritual niches, benches, and fire pits designed for ceremonies involving dozens of participants. One of the most intriguing aspects is the sheer scale and effort involved. Why did a society with no draft animals, wheeled vehicles, or metal tools construct such monumental architecture? The answer likely lies in their spiritual worldview. These buildings were more than homes. They were temples, calendars, and cosmic maps. Artifacts found in great houses, copper bells, turquoise mosaics, cacao residues, suggest elite residences and ritual use. These were not humble dwellings, but centers of power, trade, and sacred knowledge. Their construction over generations indicates a long-term vision and continuity of purpose. The great houses remain as silent witnesses to a people who saw architecture not merely as shelter, but as an extension of the heavens above. The ancient builders of Chaco Canyon didn't just create architectural marvels, they encoded the heavens into stone. It is now widely accepted that many of the great houses, roads, and ceremonial structures were carefully aligned with celestial events, including solstices, equinoxes, lunar standstills, and the cardinal directions. These alignments were not accidental. They were deliberate, precise, and deeply significant. Pueblo Bonito and other great houses like Chetro Kettle and Casa Rinconada are aligned with solar movements. For example, light shafts during the solstices illuminate specific markers within these structures, indicating a calendar system based on solar observations. This suggests the Chacons had a refined understanding of the solar year and used it to structure ceremonies, agriculture, and social life. The lunar alignments are even more intriguing. Unlike the predictable annual movement of the sun, the moon operates on an 18.6-year cycle of standstills, points where the moon rises and sets at its most extreme northerly and southerly positions. Several Chacon buildings and petroglyphs are thought to align with these lunar standstills, suggesting a multi-decade astronomical calendar. The building of Casa Rinconada, one of the largest kivas in the canyon, shows alignment with both solar and lunar events. Its design allows beams of sunlight to enter and move across the interior in specific patterns during solstices. A niche within the kiva aligns with the sunrise on the summer solstice, reinforcing its calendrical and ritual function. Such precision implies long-term sky observation. The Chacoans likely watched the heavens for years, perhaps generations, to mark patterns, eclipses, and cycles before encoding them into their architecture. The cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, are recurrent in Chacoan construction. Buildings are aligned to these points with uncanny accuracy. Roads like the Great North Road stretch almost perfectly due north, connecting Chaco to distant outlier sites and possibly representing spiritual pathways or cosmic alignments. There's also evidence that sight lines and markers were used for tracking celestial bodies. High points, gaps in cliffs, and placed markers may have served as natural observatories, helping track the sun and moon across the horizon. Combined with architectural alignments, these observations likely formed the basis for ceremonial calendars that structured religious and agricultural life. Chaco Canyon, in essence, was not just a settlement, but a cosmic map. The sky was the canvas, and the canyon its living observatory. No discussion of Chacon astronomy is complete without the enigmatic sundagger on Fajardo Butte. Discovered in 1977 by artist and researcher Ana Sofia, the sundagger is a celestial timekeeping device that uses natural rock features to mark solar and lunar events with astonishing precision. Atop Fajardo Butte, a towering rock formation within the canyon, 3 stone slabs cast narrow shafts of sunlight onto a spiral petroglyph carved into the canyon wall. During the summer solstice, a single shaft of light pierces the center of the spiral. On the winter solstice, 2 shafts bracket the spiral. These patterns are not random. They mark the exact days of the solar solstices, making the sundagger one of the most sophisticated prehistoric solar calendars ever discovered. The site also appears to mark lunar standstills, the 18.6-year cycle of the moon. The dagger's light patterns shift with the moon's movement, suggesting the builders understood not only the solar year but long-term lunar cycles as well. This kind of astronomical precision is rare, even among ancient civilizations. What makes the sundagger even more remarkable is its simplicity. It uses natural elements, sunlight, shadow, and stone, to encode complex celestial information. There are no moving parts, no gears, no inscriptions, just the sun, the rock, and the rhythm of time. Sadly, due to erosion and damage caused by increased foot traffic, the sundagger site was closed to the public in the 1980s. However, its legacy lives on in studies and documentaries that continue to explore its function and significance. Was the sundagger a sacred calendar, a ceremonial tool, a teaching device for Chacoan priests? We may never know for sure, but its precision suggests that the people of Chaco Canyon were deeply attuned to the rhythms of the sky, using them to guide their lives and connect with the cosmos. Throughout Chaco Canyon, solstice and equinox alignments are embedded into the design of buildings, kivas, and roads. These solar events marked important seasonal changes for planting, harvesting, and ceremonial observances. The equinox, when day and night are of equal length, occurs twice a year, around March 21st and September 23rd. On these days, the sun rises due east and sets due west. Many doorways and windows in Chacoan structures align with these directions, allowing sunlight to illuminate specific rooms or features, possibly signaling the start of ceremonies or seasonal activities. The solstices, the longest and shortest days of the year, were especially significant. Summer solstice, around June 21st, marked the sun's northernmost point and often aligned with major building axes or lighting effects. Winter solstice, around December 21st, marked the return of longer days and was celebrated by many ancient cultures. In Chaco, solstice markers aren't limited to buildings. Rock art and horizon markers also indicate where the sun rises or sets during these key days. Some researchers believe these markers were used in conjunction with oral traditions to maintain an accurate seasonal calendar without written records. The celestial calendar of the Chacoans was likely woven into their spiritual beliefs. Each solstice or equinox may have represented not just an astronomical event, but a cosmic balance between light and dark, life and death, renewal and continuity. When viewed collectively, the integration of solar events into daily life suggests the Chacoans lived in harmony with the cycles of nature, honoring the sun and stars not just as celestial objects, but as divine forces. Stretching out from Chaco Canyon is a vast network of straight, meticulously engineered roads. These roads, some up to 30 feet wide, cut through rugged terrain with uncanny straightness, climbing cliffs, crossing canyons, and extending for miles. What purpose did these roads serve? Some were likely trade routes, connecting Chaco to outlier communities across the Four Corners region. But others seem to have had ceremonial or astronomical functions. The Great North Road, for example, runs almost perfectly due north for over 30 miles, connecting Chaco with the outlier site of Salmon Ruin and possibly extending to the sacred San Juan River. This directional precision suggests a symbolic function, possibly representing a pathway to the celestial north or the center of the cosmos. Some archaeologists propose that Chacoan roads were ritual walkways used during ceremonies or pilgrimages aligned with celestial events. In combination with horizon markers and building alignments, these roads could have formed a terrestrial map of the heavens, connecting the earthly and celestial realms. The Chacoans didn't just build to the stars, they walked in their path. While no telescopes or written charts have been found in Chaco, the precision of their astronomical knowledge suggests the use of observational tools. These may have included horizon markers, shadow tracking devices, and simple sighting stones. High points like Fajada Butte may have served as natural observatories. From these locations, observers could track the sun and moon against the horizon, noting their positions relative to landmarks. Petroglyphs may have served as records of astronomical observations. Some scholars speculate that wooden tools similar to the Mesoamerican gnomon or sighting sticks were used. A gnomon, for example, casts a shadow that changes with the sun's position, allowing users to track time and solstices. Others suggest that portable tools, wooden sighting frames or marked sticks, could have been used to track stars and planets. Though speculative, these ideas highlight the Chacoans' ingenuity and observational dedication. Even without physical instruments, the Chacoans transformed their environment into an observatory, using the landscape, architecture, and natural light to decode the movements of the sky. The modern Pueblo peoples, Hopi, Zuni, and others, are descendants of the ancestral Puebloans. Their oral traditions are rich with cosmological knowledge passed down through generations. Stories tell of star beings, celestial journeys, and sacred time cycles. Constellations such as the Pleiades, also known as the Seven Sisters, and Orion's Belt feature prominently in rituals and agricultural calendars. For the Pueblo, The cosmos is alive. The sun is a grandfather, the moon a grandmother, and the stars are ancestors watching over them. These beliefs echo what might have motivated the Chacoans to build a society so deeply connected to the sky. Ceremonies align with celestial events, and kivas serve as symbolic wombs of the earth, connecting the underworld, the human world, and the heavens. It's possible that such cosmological layers existed in Chacoan times as well. By examining these living traditions, we gain insight into the possible beliefs of Chaco's inhabitants and their spiritual connection to the stars. Chaco Canyon is not alone in its celestial focus. Around the world, ancient cultures embedded astronomy into their monuments. In Egypt, the Great Pyramids align with Orion's belt. At Stonehenge, stones mark solstices and eclipses. The Mayans built observatories like El Caracol to track Venus and other celestial bodies. Like these civilizations, the Chacoans wove astronomy into daily life. But what makes Chaco unique is its integration of vast road networks, multi-story buildings, and remote outlier sites, all aligned with the heavens. Chaco may lack the inscriptions of the Maya or the grandeur of Egypt, but it matches them in purpose and precision. It stands as one of the few ancient cultures in North America to develop such a cohesive astronomical system. Debate continues over the extent and purpose of Chacan astronomy. Some scholars argue that alignments are coincidental, products of geometry rather than intention. Others believe they reflect a deep cosmological framework. The sun dagger remains a point of contention. Was it intentionally built, or did the builders repurpose a natural effect? Do the alignments reflect scientific inquiry or spiritual symbolism? Some propose that Chaco served as a pilgrimage center, where people gathered during key celestial events. Others believe a priestly elite used astronomy to legitimize power and organize society. Regardless of theory, what's clear is that the Chacoans observed the sky with intention and precision. Whether for ceremony, agriculture, or governance, the stars were central to their world. Mysterious as its rise, but its legacy endures. Today, the descendants of the ancestral Puebloans still honor the sky. Modern Pueblo ceremonies align with solstices, equinoxes, and lunar phases. Elders pass down stories that preserve cosmological wisdom. Places like Chaco Canyon remain sacred. Pilgrimages, prayers, and teachings continue, linking past and present. Astronomers and indigenous scholars work together to protect this heritage. By listening to both science and tradition, we gain a fuller picture of Chaco's cosmic significance. Chaco Canyon is more than ruins. It is a testament to human curiosity, creativity, and our eternal relationship with the stars. Through stone and shadow, the Chacoans watched the sky. They measured time, honored the cosmos, and built a civilization guided by light. Though we may never know all their secrets, one truth remains: they were watchers of the stars, astronomers of the ancient world, and architects of a cosmic legacy that still shines today. As we look up tonight, let us remember those who watched before us, and wonder what messages they left for us in the sky.